this is man-made mead. Today we are making a big mead, something I've wanted to do for a while and now I can. What I've done is I've gathered 5 gallons of water, and because I've been taking my recipes that I've made previously and of course testing them, I've decided on a couple that I really like and I want to redo and I want to make a bigger batch of. So that the one I'm doing today is my apple cinnamon mead. So what I've done is I've taken about 13 or 14 pounds of apples and I have cut them all up into quarters. Basically, I put them in sanitized water and make sure to get all the bad bacteria. Hopefully that killed that. And then cut them all up, put them in a bucket, and then I'm flash freezing them at the moment while I while I get my must and everything set up. So what I'm going to do now is use a huge container of honey, which is something new, something great. I have gathered a 60-pound pail of honey, which is great. I'm super excited to use that, but it's a new challenge for getting honey out. I have also got a scale. So the way I'm going to measure my honey is I'm going to use this scale. This goes up to 10 pounds. And I'm going to put about, my hope is to put about 10% ABV, get my must up to that point. So that's about 10 or 1.083, around that range. So if I can get my must up to there, then I'll be about 10% original gravity, and then I'm going to add my apples and the primary as well, and that will have some extra sugars. So we'll see what the ultimate gravity is after that. I'm using 5 gallons of water, 2 packets of Lalvin K1 V116 yeast, and then I'm going to guess about 10 to 13 pounds of honey. I don't know exactly. I'll be able to say at the very end exactly how much I put in. Right now I can't. But first, of course, we always start our yeast because that takes a while. So let's get that going. We're going to get some water in a pan, and then it's going to be a pot, and then get our yeast going. Okay, so I have also acquired a smaller scale for measuring grams, because I am first going to take and put some Go Firm Protect, which is great for helping the yeast rehydrate and get some nutrients in them and just give them the opportunity they need to survive. This requires 1.25 grams per 1 gram of yeast. Because I'm using 10 grams of yeast, math says 12.5 grams total. So I'm going to go ahead and first off see how much just the teaspoon weighs. It weighs about 5.5 grams. So ultimately I need 18 grams of weight. So let's see if I can get to that point, which I bet I'll need. This. Alright, I'm going to let this get closer to 109 degrees for what the packet says, and then I'm going to add my yeast in. So let's see real fast. Okay, we are at rehydration temperature, and I want to kind of hold it there when I get there, so that's about 105. And I'm going to add my yeast now. The Go Firm Protect has kind of made its way inside. So now we're going to add both packets, all 10 grams in total of yeast. I'm not going to stir just yet, and I'm just going to let it set for a second. The yeast will start to kind of figure out what they're doing. They'll sit for 30 minutes while I make the must, and then we'll come back and we'll go from there. So let me start making the must. Okay, so now I have all of my awesome honey. I'm super excited about this. This is a lot of honey. The way I want to go ahead and get this out and put them into here is to basically mix all into here, because I normally shake all my stuff, but with shaking it'd be hard to pour honey into this. So what I'm gonna do is put some water in first. So what I'll probably need to do is do like some waves. So I think about 8 to 9 pounds would be a good starting point, and then we could add from there. So I'm basically, because I like using this, I can at the end put my little cap on and just shake and try and get all the honey out of here. I'm gonna try and get and sort out how to get all the honey I need. So it's kind of a multi-step process. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just dip out some honey. Oh yeah, look at that. That's awesome. Okay, so now the challenging part, because there's all of this on the side, is I'm gonna have to lose a little honey, which is unfortunate. I'm gonna go and weigh this. So I'm gonna just do that. This section of honey weighs about 4 pounds, so we can go ahead and chunk it all in. We got a little here, it's okay. I think I'm gonna have to lose some. And the challenge here is I'm gonna have to lose some in each process, but that's okay. So if that was about 3.8 pounds, we're gonna go for some more. It's a lot of honey right there. Let it drip for a second so I don't lose a ton. Okay, see how much this weighs. This is about 6 pounds of honey. So that is our 10. Now, we'll have to probably add some more in a moment. What I want to do is, I'm going to keep that there. I'm going to add some water into this thing. We're going to try and get some of the honey off the sides of this. So let's see. I want to go ahead and stir and try and get as much honey water mix as I can. It's my must. Alright, let's add our water. This is all room temp, by the way. I have not heated up any water, heated any honey, and it's mixing just fine. Okay, we have all our water. This is all 5 gallons. We can go ahead and mix. Alright, let's see what our gravity is right now. 1.6. So we got to go a little further, get some more honey into here. So let's do it. Let's get a little more honey. I'm going to put roughly about 2 more pounds. Let's see where that gets us. Now we stir again. Yeah, about 10.7. Still got a little ways to go. I bet there's a bunch of honey at the bottom, and I want to just really make sure it's stirred up well before I start pouring honey in. Okay, we've added 3.5 more pounds, so we are at about 15 pounds of honey, which is about that 3 pound per gallon, which is all right. I'm okay with that. Let's see what this is like. Ooh, right on it. 10.9. That is exactly, or 1.09, excuse me, let me say the right thing. 1.09, that puts us right around that 10 to 11% gravity, or ABV, which is perfect. So now the next step is we're going to get our apples and stuff, and we're going to put it into a bag. So let me show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so The honey in the must is all ready, but I do want to add my apples. Now, my problem is I don't have a lot of space on the top of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some apples into a bag, and then we're just going to see kind of how far it fills up until this bag fills up until I get to the top of the carboy, or excuse me, the plastic fermenter. These have been sterilized, like I said, and I showed you in the video earlier, with sterilized water. So we're gonna put as many as we possibly can. They're also flash frozen, so maybe that will help some of the flavors pop a little bit. I'm gonna get as many as I can in. Big reminder is sterilize all your equipment. It's really not too hard to do, and it's pretty cheap if you buy the big bulk stuff. One thing I do like about putting these into this bag is the fact that I can pull it out super easy when it's time. Other times when you don't put stuff into a bag, it can get real mushy and it's hard to just pull anything away. Let's see how far I get. This was 13 pounds of apples. I highly doubt that I'll get all 13 in, because I want to leave some zone for fermentation, which I think that's probably my limit. So I got about, I would say 3 pounds of apples left in there, which is okay. I'm gonna freeze those. And actually what I can do is I can freeze them, and I'm gonna put apples in both the primary and the secondary of this in order to try and get the flavor to pop out. I'm also going to add, right now, because I'm doing 5 gallons, I'm doing cinnamon sticks. I want to put, in my original recipe that I really liked, the one that won the Mead tournament, I had 3 cinnamon sticks for each gallon, or for 1 gallon. So now I'm going to add, I'll put them straight in, because I think they'll be fine to sit. So let's go 1, maybe I can let it drop. 1, 2, 3. Let's go 4 cinnamon sticks, because we can always add more cinnamon flavor later. Let those drop down. And then we'll put just my little bit of must water on top of this in about 24 hours. So, okay, so speaking of the yeast, we're gonna actually let the yeast start and kind of get going for 24 hours before we actually introduce them into here. And I'm going to do that into what I call a yeast starter. So the yeast are about ready, but I want to first try to get some of the must into the yeast water and acclimate it that way. So it's real simple. I basically just take a section of my must and add it straight to here. And so this is going to get the yeast to kind of understand what's happening before they sit for a while. And because I'm doing a yeast starter, it's okay for me to go ahead and put them into a bottle and let them begin. And I'm going to do something special in a moment. I'm basically going to try to make this into a section where I can also put an airlock on it and let any fermentation that might happen come out from the yeast right now. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just sit here and I can add in my yeast water above this, and I'll do it. Okay, my yeast water is in here now, and it will sit for a while. I will show you what I'm going to do and how I'm going to actually put an airlock on it real fast. Alright, so what I've done is I've taken a cork and just basically put a hole in it all the way through, and then stick my airlock in there, and now this acts as my yeast starter. So this will be airtight, and it'll make sure that there's some action in here, and there's already some action going on right now. So And now I'm going to wait 24 hours, like I said, and then we'll go ahead and introduce this into the rest of the must and all that. Okay, so now that I've got my yeast starter sorted out, the next step is to go ahead and put more oxygen into here, which will just go ahead and oxygenate the must. So when I introduce the yeast, they kind of collaborate in the best way possible. All right, so the way I oxygenate, I've talked about before, is this little machine. This is an oxygenation machine. Has a filter on it that keeps all the bad bacteria from going in. And so I just stick it in, and it will put oxygen into my must. I'll leave this in for quite some time because I want to make sure and oxygenate the must as much as possible. And then whenever the time comes to go ahead and put the yeast in, which is in 24 hours, we'll do that. So I will be back in about 24 hours to go ahead and introduce it into here. All right, it has been 24 hours, so now we're ready to go ahead and put the yeast water in here. So this has been sitting, like I said, for 24 hours. There's some activity that you can kind of see going on right there. And I believe it is absolutely ready to be integrated into the rest of the mead. So simply enough, we're going to take off the lid, and then we're just going to go ahead and pour in the concoction. Now I don't want to pour it on top of this, so I'm going to kind of pour it, like lift this up and then pour it in this way. Now our yeast are in there, and if I have left enough room, then this should sit, and we'll see. I don't really know. There we go. Alright. So now this is, like I said, done and ready to sit for a while. Alright, so that's the end of this 5-gallon apple cinnamon. So it's gonna sit with these apples in them, about, I think it was 10 pounds of apples, I'm gonna let it sit for probably 30 days or so and really see how the fermentation goes. If the fermentation slows down a lot, then of course we might do something else. I might, move it over earlier. But the plan is, with this apple cinnamon, to go ahead and put the apples in the primary, which just is the primary, and then the secondary, and so that will get the apple flavor to really pop out, and it'll be really nice. So I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to end up really, really good. My other apple cinnamon was very good, so I've tried to copy the same-ish recipe. One thing I did note about the apple choice was I used Gala apples, I think that's how you say it, which they're sweet and like kind of a medium sweet area, but then they also have a hint of like vanilla to them, so that kind of opens up the doors for more flavors. So I'll be curious to see how those apples translate any vanilla flavor into the mead, but otherwise, I think it'll just be really interesting. I don't remember exactly. I think I used Red Delicious for my previous one, so that's a little different, but I'm all about experimenting and trying different things. So on that note, if you enjoyed this, please leave a comment down below. Give me ideas for next meads, other meads. I do a monthly mead every month, but I'm going to start trying to do more meads if possible, especially ones that I have found successful, like the apple cinnamon, and I want to do a big peppermint. I want to do a big bochet. I want to do a bunch of those because those are really fun to make and really good. And it's nice to have meads that you can just drink often. I don't want to drink all of my stuff currently. One way you can help me is by doing that. Go down below and check out the comment section and just give me some ideas and leave me some feedback. And leave a like, of course. But then also there is the Facebook page, that Man-Made Meadery. If you look me up on there, there is a Patreon, there is a PayPal donations link, there is a merchandise store. I have a bunch of stuff you can go and check out and support me in that way. And I would gladly accept any help possible because making these videos is fun, and it helps whenever I have help you guys supporting me as well. So thank you guys for watching. Check out those links below. Give me some comments. Let me know what you think, and I'll be very curious to see how the rest of this turns out. This has been the Apple Cinnamon 5-gallon, my biggest batch yet, so fingers crossed, no spoiling or anything bad happens now. So, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time, and cheers.